it's the support around those athletes so they can just purely focus on being athletes and not others can be rebuilt. But we've seen that happen along the whole coastline, and the council really getting behind rebuilding our beaches as well. And the Australian titles are here in a week's time, so we've got the Australian Surf Life Saving Championships, and I get to
oh my god.
Seated for landing. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
This is a service to Flinders Street, stopping all stations direct to Flinders Street.
That is how our ancestors created different gods, different religious practices, man-made religious practices, with rituals.
We're all gathered in one place, right?
Oh yeah, and they bought out all of KCON's merch.
Good
because
lord.
KCON had this thing where it was like,
Yeah,
if you bought $50 worth of merch,
right?
you could spin a wheel. Spin a wheel. You
Yeah.
win a meet and greet. So the Sasaengs decided.
Just do anything after whatever you want. So it's just a recline for the first one. Interesting. Oh my god, puddles.
Yeah, so like where I went to.
I'm curious what me and the.
Yeah, like I'm curious what you're gonna think.
Where'd you get this, like Target or Walmart or something?
They're what?
Did you get this like Target, Walmart or something, or Costco?
I got it at Walmart.
Walmart.
You need to vlog my.
no. Hey, like,
Yeah, oui, baguette. I'm not going to.
oui, baguette.
So you're traveling now?
Oh? Oh. Everyone's recording as well. Oh. Oh. Okay, Paul.
Really long to spell his name.
I don't think they won't listen to my language.
We're gonna have to go.
I'm gonna tell this to someone. There you go. That's a better view.
Yeah.
Mine just like reduced the volume.
Oh, now they're playing MVs. Right, I'll cheer with you when trailer comes on. Woo!
Yo, those energies are absolutely insane, kind of like Thor, right? Wow, it's too hot. Thank you. 와, 일단 시작부터 여기가 장난 아니고 저희 멜버른 팀애들 이 정도인 줄 몰랐습니다, 여러분들. 그쵸?
Wow, I can feel the heat from you guys already. I didn't expect this much firepower from our Melbourne treasure makers.
역시 우리 틈의 헬로 틈의 파이널 트레저! We are treasure! Alright, how was it? Members?
너무 재밌는 것 같아요.
인정.
I'm having so much fun today.
I think so.
Alright, I wanted to say
Anything is okay. Go ahead.
I love you, Melbourne!
예. 달콤살벌한 선택지 중 하나를 고르는 그런 밸런스 게임인데 거두절미하고 첫 번째 질문 바로 가보실까요?
Now, sweet and spicy white balance, just like the name, is a mini game where we choose between two things, one sweet and one spicy. Now, should we go to the first question? Wow.
네, 첫 번째 질문이에요.
Now, this is the
guys so much. So it's been 10 years. It's been 10 years while, right? So 굉장히 오랜만에 이렇게 호주에 왔는데
It's been such a long time since I've come to Australia. The short and honest answers to.
네, 일단 첫 번째 질문입니다.
Now for the first question.
멜버른에 도착해서 가장 먼저 먹은 음식은
What was the first meal you had when you arrived in Melbourne?
Guess me.
He said to guess.
아,
우유를 처음 먹었어요.
I had milk as my first meal here.
근데
많은 날들이 지나 무뎌져 버린 내 Just come over and bite me. Come here and get some. 너를 참이할 사이게. 그게 내 소명. Just come over and bite me. You need this world. 내게로 다시 와닿네. 꿈을 바란다. Just come kiss me and bite me. It's you and me in this world. 이 어둠 속에 설레네. 기회를 줄 거라면. 끝이 harmony 앞에 선글라스 때문에 터지는 돌아가 홀라 햇살이 피는 듯해 태어난 네 모습 어쩌면 나도 뻗어 왔는지 모르 그대 형제치가 미움져 나도 작아지기만
experienced Australia when about 6 years ago to become a K-pop idol, and now I'm here with the members, with my family. I'm so happy to be here. I know that there's going to be more Australian concert shows in the future. But everybody here right now in this arena, in this space, I think we've done something special tonight. So I just want to say thank you so much. I knew the energy here tonight was going to be even more than we expected. But it was more than we expected, so thank you so much. I'm so happy. I'm just happy, I know. Like Nikki said, we'll be back as soon as possible. So until then, hope you guys always stay happy, stay healthy, stay warm. Till next time, thank you so much. I love you, Australia. Melbourne, you guys been amazing. Thank you. We'll be back.
And we done on this app. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Right? Wait. Oh, here we are. Let's go.
Oh, it didn't keep our 100.
Rib?
Oh, it didn't keep
GG.
our 100. It's okay, it lives in our hearts.
Oh wait, it lives in our heart,
It
eh?
lives in our hearts.
Lives in our
Look,
heart.
it's the wind. It's my children.
Melbourne's birth of the best city. It's like most livable, I believe, in Australia.
I know, like, I think it's like overall in the world.
Yeah.
It's like top 5 for the best places to like raise a family.
Yeah, for sure.
It's ready.